What's up, guys? Welcome back to the weekly scraps. Oh man, what a crazy weekend! UFC 311 is in the books, and I hate to say I told you so. And for all the people that believed in us, thank you, thank you, thank you. We do this weekly, and we give you guys the goods. We always bring in the facts, even if it's our own teammates. We give the facts, but we still say we're picking our guys. So, guys, when I'm saying I'm giving you the goods, I'm giving you some inside information. All I'm saying is, I know you guys like to bet. I can't bet on the fights because sometimes, I just don't bet on the fights.
Yo, you gotta give Vegas their props for understanding how much people believed in Umar and how little they believed in Merab and tapping into that. Because they just made so much bread.
Ooh. I feel like there's a lot of broken parlays out there. Sad.
Oh, my God.
This is my violin.
I made a rule a few fights ago that I don't bet on my friends anymore because I felt like I was bringing bad luck.
Everybody feels that way.
Bro, like the one time I bet on, never mind. But
damn. You're my downfall in Boston? He's my downfall in Boston. That's crazy. It's actually crazy work.
I might have been. I'm sorry. But yeah, after you and Dennis back to back, like Dennis in Nashville, then you in Boston, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I almost bet on Merab because the odds were so good, and then I was like, I just don't want to fuck it up, you know?
My boys, yeah, I got a group chat with my friends, and we were talking about it. I'm like, I could give you guys the picks, and you guys could take that information and do whatever you want with that information. But just know I'm going to have some bias with my friends. This is why I try not to give picks, because then I feel like it's bad karma for me to say, this is who I really think is going to win, but I'm picking them because they're my friend.
Yeah.
So, obviously on this, I give the breakdown and the insight and whatever. So I just feel like again, I mean, we could start with Umar and Merab if we want, or we could start with Islam. But since we're already talking about it, I just feel if you actually sit down and watch the tape of Umar's opponents and understand their skill level and understand where they come from, who they have actually beaten, how battle tested are they, he passes the test against guys like that. But in terms of world-class caliber and doubled with the hype of his cousin and everything he's accomplished for his career, not Umar's career, right. I just don't see what the hype was all about. I'm not saying that the guy can't become a world champion. I'm not saying he doesn't beat a lot of guys that are ranked. But until you go out there and actually prove yourself, what are you actually basing that odds on? Like, you have to make it make sense. And Merab has such a gas tank. If you haven't seen what he's done to all these other former champions, then you're not paying attention. And if you think just because someone can wrestle, they're going to automatically win because they might have the superior wrestling in a 6-minute match, okay, but this is not a 6-minute match. It's a 25-minute fight. And I think a lot of people had a lot of oversight on this, and your parlays just wasn't hitting. Just wasn't hitting that night. And to the ones that knew, because I got some friends that showed me they slips, some of these guys made a bag, bro. I'm talking like dropping 30, bro. 40 bands on it.
I know somebody who made 100K on Merab.
I know someone who's made over 100K.
I mean, if you bet on Merab, like his last, Merab's like a lock. His last 12 fights, like he's the safest bet right now.
Of course, he's like the Mayweather right now.
Oh yeah.
Let me see. He had a parlay that was crazy to me. Oh no, he bet Merab 2 different ways and they both hit. 139K, 126K.
Whoa.
It's nuts.
Yo, I want to know who the fuck that was. That's crazy.
And he supported the brand with the Funk Harbor. So
okay.
Crazy.
I mean, I'm curious because like I wish I was there, and I've been there for a lot of these fight days. I'm just curious. You know, what was the fight day like from beginning to end as being in his corner? Like, how did he feel? How did you feel watching him these past, like, during fight week? Like, how did you think it was going to go based on fight day? I'm just curious about all that.
Fight day, I felt confident. You know what? My confidence with Merab is I don't feel like he leaves stones unturned. Like, he does the right work. People can say whatever they want about how pretty or exciting or whatever they want to call it. But at the end of the day, the guy works his ass off. He puts the time in. So my comfort lied in that and just talking with him, working out with him, doing the morning shakeout, and then working out again before we made the walk. And just understanding where his headspace is. And I can kind of feel if he's mentally there or not, if he's shaking up. And I just feel like he's hit a groove where you kind of already know what you're gonna get with him, and if you could just keep him in that zone, make sure he's taking his time. He's a veteran now, very very experienced in the 5-round fights. He knows what he needs to do to win, and he knows how to play to his strengths, and he listens to his corners. So I felt like there was of course some nervousness because it's a fight, anything can happen. We know Umar is still very very talented, and the big question mark was if he gets us down, we know we're going to get up. It's just how long will it take for us to get back up to our feet? And will he be able to drain Merab's energy tank? Even though I knew Umar would gas no matter what, as long as there was no finish, I knew Umar would slow down eventually because I've seen it in his other fights. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, we were just making sure he didn't level the playing field by being able to wear on Merab with a good, solid takedown where he could rack up some good control time and damage. So I was like, man, if we can just make sure we get out when we get taken down, or we can avoid the takedown for a little bit and do some damage, we're going to be in a good spot. So as the day was going on, just everything I was seeing in the shakeouts, what he was doing with Kassain and with me in the back room, it was once again a movie of watching us get our asses kicked for a couple of live rounds. But at the end of the day, it's all worth it, man. And
I think before the Henry fight, you said he did like 8 rounds that day, and it went pretty viral.
Yeah.
Do you have any crazy backroom stories like this about this fight?
Well, we were in the back room warming up. So we had 2 situations. One, he laced me to the body with the 4-ounce gloves in the back, and I had to run off the mat to like catch my breath a little bit. Not like dying, but I want to avoid getting punched immediately after that. So as soon as I said, and I killed over, and then I just ran off to the side to the bathroom. It was like, well, I'm coming right back. And then it came back, and I was like, all right, I'm good. So I was hoping that he could land one of those in the fight. And then we were in the wrestling clinch warming up, and then once we broke in the clinch, he like shucks me off with like, we call this like a flank. He flanks it, and he comes back with a right hook / forearm elbow, and I'm just like, really? That's probably the icing. That's probably the pinnacle of what I've gotten in terms of punishment. Like, I get my ass kicked, but I can cover up, block, and just endure the punishment a little bit. But this one was just clean right to the face, and I was like, that did not feel great. Pause.
This was all on fight day?
This is all on fight day. And then he was like, oh, shit, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was like, well, as long as I'm not bleeding, bro, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, that's
good.
mad funny.
Yeah.
Fucking, I mean, how did you guys?
He's just a marauder. But
how did he feel in the back room?
I thought he felt strong, felt on point. Everything Coach was calling out, Coach John Wood. I've sung his praises before, and I'll sing it again. I think Coach John Wood is one of the better coaches in the game that a lot of people maybe don't know about. But it might seem tough for people to I guess appreciate him, maybe because Merab's already been at the top when he kind of came over to the gym, but he helped mold a lot of Merab's game and tighten up a lot of things and gave him some set plays that he could run, and he knows how to coach him. They worked together well, and I think he did a great job with him. He did a great job with Muin Gafarov. And I think that's what really helped a lot. The fight with Muin, he fought the undefeated fighter. All the undefeated guys lost. Let's actually give it up. I don't want to feel like a hater, but it was a night. All the undefeated guys lost their arrow, and Muin, I think he beat the first one that was undefeated, and the Japanese guy Nakamura, who was like a crazy international wrestler, like world champion level wrestler.
Really?
And He got one takedown, but Muin was able to get out. But for the most part, he dropped him early in the first round. He took him down, styled on him a bit, took a playbook out of Merab's, took some plays out of Merab's playbook, saluting, like the no look, no see kind of thing, like when you throw a shot and it's just completely nowhere to be found. And Merab's been training with him too, so to get the looks with him, and Merab's being able to take him down. And Muin even able to get takedowns on him, and then me sparring with Muin, and then Kassan. You get these looks, and then you go in with a freestyle world champ guy in Nakamura. And you go out there and you do that. That gives you confidence. It's like, damn, this guy is not taking me down. What is this other guy going to do? And if he does take me down, what is he going to do from there? You know, so I think that gave us a lot of confidence. Like, he dominated, and it kind of set the tone for the night, man. It really did.
I got a text from a pretty big name in the media today, and he was like, yo, bro, Merab literally – let me read the text. I'm not going to say who it was from, but I think it kind of sums up how the MMA world feels about Merab, and I just want to get your opinion on it. He was like he said, Merab's stock went through the roof last night. He embarrassed Nurmagomedov. That's crazy. And I mean, I don't want to – I don't mean any disrespect. I don't want to put you in a position where you feel like you're disrespecting anybody. But, like, literally before last night, I think the aura of anybody with that last name was that they couldn't lose.
Yeah.
Like, all of the facts of the situation get overlooked. The type of guys he's fought, you know, how he got jumped into that spot. Like, all of that gets overlooked, and they just look at that last name. What do you think it means to be the guy to do that? You know?
What do I think it means? I think he just the way he said it in the post-fight interview, just don't let people bully you and try to make you seem like you're incapable of doing what you know you've been able to do. You're more than capable of doing, and I think that was a great message. These guys, not even these guys, just the back and forth that they had. Umar can say whatever he wants, but he was talking, and obviously, of course, Merab has the belt. You're gunning for the guy with the belt. So I understand that aspect of it. I would never say anything about anyone trying to get a crack at the title. But to pretend and say you didn't say anything disrespectful is kind of crazy. It was kind of calling him, not kind of, he called him a coward. You know, whether it was him or Ali on the phone tweeting, and some of the videos that he did. And there's a bunch of messages. Some people even tag me and they say, remember when he said this? And they said the same thing, even if it wasn't him. It was someone, and he allowed them to put that out. So that's on him. At the end of the day, one is proven, and the other one had one tough test, and it wasn't anything crazy that's like, wow, this guy is going to run through everybody. Again, my analysis was if Corey Sandhagen, who I fought, who isn't the greatest grappler, but who has put a lot of time into grappling since our fight, who has grown in that area, if he can catch up and make it competitive on the grappling side of it to the point where now you're forced to stand, I know Umar would have much rather have taken him down and styled on him and just got a quick submission to really put the oohs and ahs out there to really get people on the side. But ended up being a long 5-round fight, and there was nothing in particular that was overly fantastic. It was a great fight, but nothing overly fantastic. So when you look at that and then you see Merab, you're like, how can I value this so much more than the guy who's done this over and over and over again to all these former champs? And that's the take right there. So shout out to both of them. Like I said, Umar still put up a good fight, whether he broke his hand in the first round or second round, whichever round it was in. He punched him incorrectly. He punched him. I think I might have remember seeing a punch that landed that was like on the top of the head, and that's not where you punch people. So at the end of the day, it didn't happen before training. Merab had a crazy gash. He had to defy the odds. At the end of the day, I think we should be praising Merab and giving him his flowers because it's been long overdue. And for him to do that to Nurmagomedov and style on him in the middle of the cage in real time while he's getting taken down, he's trying to drag him down. He can't pull him down, and he's standing like this. Like, that's aura right there. That is aura. That is confidence. And, so we'll see what's next, man, because I don't know what it's going to be. It seems like it might be O'Malley, but time will tell.
That was my next question. He's literally cleared out the division. Like, anyone who he fights next would have to be pretty much a rematch, unless Pantoja comes up and challenges Merab for his belt. But I just feel like that seems a little silly to me. So I wonder, what do you think should be next for Merab?
I don't know. Who I think should be next? I mean, you would have been able to make the argument for Sandhagen or Cheeto if they were coming off wins. And the same thing with Sandhagen. Like, what I said about him before still stands true today. He risked a lot taking that chance to fight Umar and to put him in a bad position. And even now, I don't think it's that terrible to even entertain that matchup. I think it's still a fun fight. But I think we all kind of see how that's going to play out after honestly what Merab just did to Umar. You know what I mean?
Do you think with Henry and Song Yadong coming up, if Song has an impressive performance, do you think that could be the fight?
That could definitely be the fight. And it's a guy from China, so you got a whole new market. And Song's a dangerous dude too, man. And I'm not just saying that because they're like, oh yeah, he's just gonna go out there and take him down. Yeah, he might get him tired, but I think stylistically he's a dangerous dude. He's a power puncher. He's got some good hips. Of course, we know it's not the first takedown. It's maybe not the fifth takedown, but it's the rest of them after that. And can you keep that pace, that threshold? So I don't know who should be next. I would like it to be Jan because I think that makes the most sense in terms of who's got the most credibility and earned it. O'Malley is just, honestly, the fans are going to hate this, but that's really just a payday. So if it is O'Malley, I think that's the easier fight of the two. Or should I say the least dangerous one of the two. Of course, O'Malley can still catch him, right? He can still catch him.
I mean, bro, how do you even sell that fight? Like, this guy hasn't beat anybody since Merab absolutely washed him for 5 rounds. Who wants to see that again? Like, what's different? Like, how do you sell that to the fans unless they create some kind of conflict, like, artificially? How do they sell that?
Well, he should have brought his ass in the cage so I could have taken his jacket this time.
That's funny.
How funny would that have been? I would wear that little pink blazer he had on.
You should get the pink version of that jacket and wear it around.
Yeah. I don't know how you sell that fight. I mean, Jan makes the most sense in terms of credibility, but also in terms of dollars. I think Merab deserves a good payday as champ now, getting the points. I think now his stock has gone through the roof, and I think the next fight will reflect that in terms of pay-per-view. I'm not saying it's going to be John Jones numbers, but who knows at this point.
I mean, he also took a huge risk, so, like, he's got all the leverage going into his next, whatever he negotiates next is probably massive for him.
Yeah, well, I'm talking more pay-per-view sales.
No, but like both, you know, like his next fight's going to be, if it was O'Malley, then it would be like massive, even more massive.
I hope so, shit, because they ain't do shit for me.
I mean, yeah, fuck. I mean,
O'Malley should just come up and rematch me. He should just come up to 145 and rematch me.
Yeah, you calling for that?
We got some unfinished business there, buddy, and I don't got nobody to fight right now.
I mean, my hot take with that is you proved what, in the Calvin fight, what would have happened, most likely, had you recovered for an extra 6 weeks and had a full camp uninjured. That's what if you just took another 6 weeks, I think your fight with Sean would have looked exactly how the Cater fight looked. I mean, Cater's massive. He's way bigger than Sean.
Bro.
And you threw him around, and it's almost the same style of fighting.
And even Mosar. Bro, it's not. People could call it salty all you want. And I hate that we're even talking about this again. I was jokingly saying chicken tongue, but I would love for him to actually come up. I would 100% entertain that. That would be a fun fight. There's a little bit of unsettled business there. I don't say bad blood because I don't hate the guy, but I do get annoyed when he's chirping and acting as if he beat me at my best. That's the only thing that annoys the shit out of me sometimes.
I wish the fans acknowledged how much of a bitch he sounded like leading up to that fight, with all the things he was saying about why he thought he was going to beat you, like how it was on short notice, was like he would openly acknowledge how you coming back on short notice was like in his favor. How the weight cut was in his favor. Like that's a reason he's going to have an edge over you.
Like, but it was, all of that was true. It was all valid. And I said it over and over again. I rolled the dice by taking a chance. You know, I should never had succumbed to what my manager had kept asking me. You know, I said no. You know the story. You know the back drama on this. It is what it is. I'm over it. I'm just saying if he ever did decide to come, like I don't care to fight the guy unless he's saying he's coming up to 145. So I'm just saying cheek and tongue. But if you do decide you want to figure, you know, to do something, then I think that would be a fun little unsettled business fight to have, and Daddy can have his way properly this time. No pause.
I mean, that would be fun. I think the one of the questions that's come up from this fight with Merab is that they're starting to compare resumes with you.
Oh, yes. I've been seeing that.
I want to ask you, who do you think is the best bantamweight of all time?
I mean, see, that's a tough question, right? Because I think, like, do you have your screen is frozen, so I don't know if I can see it. I wanted to see what my win streak was. I was going to look it up.
I got it right here. I can read it to you.
Why am I not seeing you on the screen?
I don't know why my laptop tweaks like this sometimes.
Tweaking laptop. Okay, go ahead.
After Marlon Moraes, you had Brett Johns decision, Cody Stamann knee bar, Jimmy Rivera decision, Pedro Munoz decision unanimous. All of the decisions I just said were unanimous.
Those guys were all ranked.
Yeah. Corey Sandhagen, Peter Yan, TJ Dillashaw, Henry Cejudo, and then that was the end of your win streak.
So it was a 9?
That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. And the 10 is a little weird because
no. It was 9. I'm sorry, my bad.
Okay. And see, so even that, the 9's a little weird because of the DQ. All those guys were ranked when I fought them. Brett Johns was undefeated when I fought him. Cody Stamann was undefeated in the UFC when I fought him. Jimmy Rivera was on a hot surging streak. I think he was top 5 at the time. Pedro Munoz was top 5 at the time. Sandhagen was top 5 at the time. And then Yan was Yan, obviously. And then Cejudo, TJ. And then you got Merab. He's got some killers on his list, too. The only thing I would say is maybe, like, I guess the only thing people could say is, like, I guess whose strength of schedule was considered tougher before maybe 1 or 2 fights before the belt, or even 3 fights before the belt. But he's fought some tough guys. Even John Dodson was a former title challenger twice against Demetrius. And some people actually thought he beat him the first time. He got smoked the second time they fought. I remember after Merab beat Dodson, I remember Dodson came up to me in the back after the fight and he just goes, in the cage actually, and he's like, man, I didn't want to fight him. I want to fight you. I was like, this guy don't have no idea. I would have done him way worse. he don't have no idea. I think Merab had hurt, or I told Merab that. I was like, this guy has no idea. I would have, and I wasn't as big back then. I was like, bro, I would have smushed that guy back then. Smushed.
That's funny. You know what's crazy about both your win streaks is you guys beat a lot of the same guys. The only guy he beat that you didn't, I think, was Marlon Moraes.
Yeah.
I
was still so salty about that. But I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot from that fight.
I mean, yeah, shit. I think it's kind of like it's really hard to compare. I think because you guys have the same amount of title defenses now. Or no, you have more title defenses.
Yeah.
But I think his win streak is a little longer, so I guess it's
3 fights longer.
Yeah.
Well, I think 2 fights longer because one of them he had the same situation I did, which was a catch weight, and they held it against me like for a win. So I guess maybe that's why they're taking that away from him, his bantamweight streak win versus his full-on streak win. I think his full streak is 12, and I think the bantamweight run is 11 by technicality.
Okay.
Even though it's still a bantamweight that he fought. Yeah, I don't know. People got to let people decide on that. I think there's going to be a good argument that even if, because you can't, I find it hard to always go by title defenses. I mean, he beat 4 former world champs already. Jan, Aldo, O'Malley, and Sayudo.
And you beat TJ, Jan, Henry. Those are the champs you beat.
And Renan Barão is 4.
He was a champion?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was the one that everyone thought was the boogeyman until TJ Dillashaw came out and EPO'd him up.
I mean, bro, whoever it is, the fans are obviously going to debate about this. Of course. But, like, it's so crazy that you guys came up together. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you got that one picture of you staring at him when he's talking to Lorisenko. It's like, so it brought a tear to my eye because it's just like so crazy. Like,
oh, I got some napkins for you, bro.
Nah, stop. It's just crazy. Like, the odds of that happening in life, and then
it don't happen. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it don't happen.
It's just incredible. I mean, what's that like for you to watch? Like, you guys, your plan has almost fully come to fruition. Like, you were gonna have your title run. Merab wasn't gonna fight you. You went up to 145. You're up at the top of that division now. Merab's the champion. He's dominating. Like, what does that feel like for that to fully come to fruition?
It's cool as shit, man. And a lot of people, when you actually get to interact with us and you see how close we actually are, I think people can then take a step back and go, okay, I get it now why these guys don't want to fight each other. It probably would be really hard to maintain any type of relationship after that. So with that said, man, I'm just very proud of everything we accomplished. And I told him the same thing this week. And after we were cutting weight, and after the weight cut, and just kind of reassured him, I was like, bro, man, we've done everything already. We've beaten all the toughest guys. We traveled the world. Life is so good. We both got multiple houses. We could take care of our family. We don't have to worry about where the next meal is coming from. We're very fortunate for that. And I was like, bro, I've helped you so much. You've helped me so much. And it's just nice to see us both get to where we want to be without ever having to cross that path where we're going to fight each other. You know?
It's literally like the whole idea of like having an abundance mindset. Like, a lot of times people might be in the same situation as you and Merab, and like one person might be like, nah, I gotta fucking there can only be one of us, you know?
Yeah.
And then
there's
you guys
both.
both,
That say they'll fight their grandma for $1,000. They're like just being stupid, but even that's like, it's just crazy to me. It's just, I just don't think. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. At the end of the day, I just couldn't do it. Bro, you can go back to some of my earlier fights when I was 4-0 in the UFC, and then I lost 2 in a row, and then when I finally won, I won 2 in a row to Kenio Mendez and Renan Barão. And I think after that fight, or during those fights, I was talking about it because people were asking about my cardio, how it was so good. And I was like, bro, get you a Merab. You get yourself a Merab, your cardio is going to go through the roof. And not everyone's got a Merab, so I feel like I was in such a lucky positioning that I can get that type of level and look of training where my threshold gets raised through the roof because I have someone like him elevating me. And then, we started the MMA wrestling class, and I was coaching and I was teaching. And a lot of the times we were the main training partners together. Dennis jumped into class, Anthony Delemy, all these guys were rising up. All the cream was rising to the top in the class. People were going out. We were on crazy win streak. Justin was on a 5-5 win streak. Like, we were crushing the competition. And it's a little unfortunate because I did love teaching that, but it's just hard to be a coach and a full-time fighter. But it ran its course, and we were both able to elevate ourselves so much. And yeah, man. So it's just nice to see him get the bag he deserves, being able to take care of his family, make all the money that he can make while he can. And that's it, man. Hopefully I could reclaim gold one more time. It would be a dream come true. If not, man, I'm very content with everything I've been able to accomplish. But the goal is still the same. And if I could get back to that position while he still has the belt, bro, that would be amazing. And if Ilya goes up to 55 and he does what he says he's going to do, then none of us have to actually cross that bridge. And I don't got to make it awkward fighting Ilya, who's one of Merab's really good friends as well. So who knows? We'll see. We'll see. And
I mean,
cheers to that. Merab said he was going to drink Fong Harbor with me. He had to go hang out with his family, and I went to go hang out with Jamal Hill to show some love. So I'm going to take a shot for him. Hopefully he takes a shot with me later this week. And cheers to the W. Cheers for more victories. And cheers to Merab in the future, breaking my record. I'm calling it now. He's going to break the record, and then he will for sure, without a doubt, be the bantamweight GOAT. That's my blessing.
Fuck yeah. Clip that. Somebody clip that. I mean, let's talk about the main event. Obviously, Islam did what he was supposed to do. Not to take any credit away from him, but he went out there, did his thing.
Bro, I was a little shocked that he trailblazed Renato Moicano like that.
Really?
And it makes me curious, or makes me start to believe, because I'm rating Moicano a lot higher now with the groove, the momentum, his aura, just the way he's talking, his confidence. And then you got Arman, who's also really good, but then the way it was like a hot knife through butter, bro. Hot knife through butter. And then there was that one moment, it looked like he got knocked down, but it was actually a slip because the canvas sucks. I don't know when they're going to actually fix the damn UFC canvas. We keep telling these guys, keep complaining. These guys really think it's the best one. It's absolutely bizarre. How many times do we have to fall, throwing head kicks and knees and like that? There's nothing even happened. The guy fell on his ass. With that said, hot knife through butter, absolutely just ran through Moicano. And the nice part about it, he didn't even beat him up, which was cool because now Moicano can go back and fight Beneil Dariush and get that fight rebooked or something. So for him to do that, my initial thought, now I'm curious to see, because now I'm starting to believe and feel, maybe he was going to smash Arman, bro. Maybe.
Really?
Well, just the way that it looked, like I thought it was going to be really, really close, but to see him do that to Renato Moicano, who also trains down at American Top Team with Arman, I'm not sure if they're training together, but I know he's training down there. I mean, how could you not consider that possibility? I'm not saying it happens, but it made me think like, damn, was he really about to just smash Arman and have everyone just shut up and just be crickets? Because that would have been crazy. That would have been crazy. Because that would
have been insane.
Bro, the way he put that squeeze on him, bro. Oh, my God.
So
bro, I don't even think you understand. I saw Mighty Mouse talking about it. People lock here when they get the Darce or Anaconda. He's doing some shit where he's locking here and he's folding. He's just folding guys up, bro. Now I'm going in the gym next week and I'm trying that 100%. So thank you, Islam, for that.
Wow, so you're really not a Dagestani hater. Because I was going to...
Shout out to the Dagestani boys. Islam, congrats on your victory. Congrats for setting a record. I believe he has the most title defenses now. We're about to get into this. No, I know.
Yeah.
But regardless, a record is a record, and no one can ever take that away from you. I know you don't drink, but cheers. Salam alaikum.
So, okay, he does have the record. Thank you for giving me a beautiful segue. He does have the record now. But everyone's kind of shitting on his record because I got it pulled up here. His title run has been Charles Oliveira, former featherweight, Alexander Volkanovski, who almost beat him, featherweight, Alexander Volkanovski again, featherweight, Dustin Poirier, former featherweight, and Renato Moicano, former featherweight. And even if you zoom back in time a little bit before that, it was Dan Hooker on short notice and Bobby Green on short notice as well. So his last fight here, short notice. So a lot of people have a lot of things to say. Is Islam's title run and just has he gotten lucky break after lucky break, or is he really, that guy?
Damn. I think there's a combination here. I think he keeps getting the short end of the stick on all these opponent matchups, these change-ups. And it's not his fault. It's really not. But the facts are still the facts. There's definitely something to be said about that. But, like Charles Oliveira, I wouldn't even consider him a 45er anymore. I don't think he could ever make 45 again. I really don't think so. I've seen him cut weight at 55, and the mofo is dying, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
it's brutal.
It's not great. It's not great. It actually gives me like trauma watching
It's
that.
literally like, I think one of your last weight cuts, he was also cutting weight at the same time, and literally like the squad was around him like singing Brazilian prayers to get him through it. Like, do you remember this?
No, of course. How could I?
It's like
that?
insanity, and he like barely makes weight.
That's how hard it has to be for him. And I know it sucks, but damn, you ain't making 45 again. So I would consider him a true 55er, even though he has a long career at 45 in the UFC. The Volkanovski ones, those were just stupid, especially the second one. The first one, that one's legit for me. I can count that, even though it's still a 45er. You still fought a guy smaller than you. But he fought one of the pound-for-pound best at the time, and I think that has to count for something. The second one, I wouldn't rate that so much. It's still a win. It still counts as a defense, but I wouldn't rate it as highly in stacking it up against a Khabib resume or a BJ Penn, Jens Pulver type of thing, just like former 55-pound champs, right? Frankie Edgar. So with that said, yeah, it's tough. I was giving him the shake that he's now the greatest lightweight of all time, but then after I looked at it, I was like, well, maybe he actually needs one more, and actually on full terms with the full camp, so it could be appreciated for what it truly is, a win against someone in the weight, against someone on a streak. I feel kind of bad that Arman's not going to get a chance to actually prove and show if he is truly capable to beat Islam, but because Dana's now passing it up and saying like he lost his spot. I don't know who else he's going to fight. Who else is he going to fight? I like Ilia Topuria. I love.
But even
that one.
I feel like Islam needs to like beat a 55er again.
Of course, but
how many times are we gonna have him fight 45ers? You know, like
who else is there for him to fight?
I think hopefully Dana reconsiders that and lets Arman do it. Because Arman, to me, if he had beaten Arman, especially if he finished him, then he's definitely like, you can't really shit on his resume.
No.
But like because of this, it is a little bit like I know you're giving like the whole was he gonna smash Arman because he smashed what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? Moicano.
Moicano he can't afford to lose. What the fuck?
To me, Moicano, it's like the same thing. He was training for a 3-round fight against Islam Makhachev.
Can we say this though? Money Moicano takes the fight on 24 hours notice, very reminiscent of my guy, Al Iaquinta, the one people tend to overlook. Oh, Khabib was playing with him. Brother, no, he was not. If he could have finished him, he would have. He would have gotten him out of there.
Bro, playing with him is like what Merab did to Umar. That's not... Like, that's what playing with somebody looks like, not fucking what Al and Khabib had. But go on, sorry.
Yeah. But with that said is, you see the difference in what happened. And obviously, Islam is not Khabib, but most people think Khabib is technically the better ground guy. Khabib had Al in all these bad positions, but Al was training for a 3-round fight against a striker, had bad knees, wasn't able to do any wrestling during his training camp, and survived and still made it a fun fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of the greatest lightweights of all time. And I think there should be some flowers for that because it's not easy to go in there on a day's notice with the champ and actually making something of the short notice opportunity. It's very few and far in between that have actually been able to do that. The only person who's actually done something like that I can think off the top of my head is Michael Bisping, and that was on 2 weeks' notice with Luke Rockhold. So...
Yeah.
I just want to give Al his props and his flowers because you saw Renato had the chance. He's a BJJ black belt, and he got crunched. He got crunched up, bro. He got crunched up bad. And that's how the fight game goes, you know? And for Al to survive when Khabib took him down, laced up his legs, had him in bad positions, took his back, and couldn't do nothing with it, come on, man. Follow the dots, man. Follow the dots. Just do the right homework, and I wish we actually had a chance to prepare for that fight. just out of curiosity to see if Al could have actually shocked the world with a full camp against a guy as strong and dominant as Khabib. But back to Moicano, like I said, got crunched up really quick. I don't know who's gonna challenge Islam next if it's not Arman. I feel like Dana White's in a tough position because you almost have to run that back. It just has to make sure that he's gonna be healthy, because if he's not gonna make it to the fight again, that's just crazy. You gotta have a backup fighter. You have to. And the only other people I could think of is Justin Gaethje and Dan Hooker, the winner of that, or Fiziev and Gamrot.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
But they're not fighting. I know they wanted a rematch, but I heard Gamrot turned it down. I heard, but I don't know. I don't know anything.
If Gaethje has a good performance, I could see them giving it to him.
I would love to see someone else in there, though. My personal.
I would too, but he has to really have a sick performance, I think, to erase the Max loss.
Yeah.
And then get a title shot. But I don't know. I feel like Arman is the next best guy, like truly in the division. Like he's been built up that way for a long time.
Looking like right now?
Right now it's Islam, and then Arman is number 1. Charles, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, Dan Hooker, Chandler, Gamrot. I don't know how the fuck Chandler is above Gamrot. Beneil, Hanato, Fiziev at 11.
Bro, there's no one for him to fight.
Bro, honestly, do the Charles rematch. I think that was a good one.
That's the most logical thing. If you're not doing Arman rematch, you got to do the Oliveira rematch.
Only problem is Oliveira's coming off a loss, you know?
Yeah, or Hooker versus Gaethje. And if Hooker were to win, I could see them giving him a title shot, but that's also a rematch, but this time on full camp.
I mean, yeah, bro, he was even supposed to fight Charles, and then that fight fell through. So it's just like, it's kind of just bad luck at this point.
Bro, I've seen enough. Give him Alex Pereira.
Yo, he said he would go up to 185, but he doesn't think he could beat Pereira. Or like
Pereira's at 205.
Yeah, exactly. Like he thinks he could go all the way up to 185, but then 205 is where it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah, but, I'm starting to believe it, man. I'm telling you, the way he folded him up, that was not normal. Like,
bro,
really? I know jiu-jitsu.
Against Moicano?
Against Moicano. Like I'm giving
him
you the
beating
same
Moicano like that
the
is
same goods I did when I was watching Merab and watching Umar versus Sandhagen. Yo, for him to fold him over like that is not easy. Like, I don't think people understand to fold and crunch somebody into a ball forcefully that knows what they're doing defensively. Guys, there's something to be said about that. That's some ungodly strength. That's crazy. And Mighty Mouse has talked about it too, even though he's a lot smaller. But yeah, there's something to be said about that. So I don't know, man. I just want to see Islam fight somebody on a full camp at 55.
Yeah, like a real top contender. Dana finally admitted that Islam is the number 1 pound for pound guy. Like he gave it to him.
What does that mean, though?
In my opinion, I think that means negotiations with John Jones aren't going so great.
Voila.
But what do you? I'm curious. Who is your pound for pound number 1 fighter right now? Just while we're on the topic, who do you give it to?
My number 1 pound for pound. I feel like it has to be John Jones.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he's fighting guys in his weight. He's clean house. And for me, my definition of pound for pound might be different from yours. It might be different from everybody else's. But that means if weight wasn't a factor, your overall skill, could you beat everyone just based on the skill set that you possess? And I think he would be that guy. The next guy in that conversation, which would I say I'll give my top 5 pound for pound. Actually, I'm not gonna do that because I'm gonna cause a lot of controversy.
No, bro, do it. Let's go. Come on, this is a good clip. Come on.
I'm gonna say John Jones. I say Islam. I'm saying Merab.
Number 3.
Pound for pound. I'm talking skill. no matter the weight, everything that you possess from your cardio, your jiu-jitsu, your wrestling, your judo, everything,
Like,
your striking.
you're saying if everybody was the same height, same size,
yes.
whose
I
skill
think
set is
Merab is
pound
a
for pound?
nightmare for everybody.
Yeah, I agree.
A nightmare. Absolute nightmare. The next guy I would say, so this makes it hard because if we're just saying all the skill and everything, and your knockout power, if that could translate to no matter the weight, I gotta say Alex Pereira, Chama, and is that 3 or 4?
That was 4. You did it. You did John Jones, Islam, Merab, Pereira, and then who's number 5?
My number 5. I mean, I feel like it has to be a champ.
Do you want me to name some for you?
No, I'm just thinking which champ would I pick. I'm stuck between Bilal and Topuria.
I mean, skill set wise, who do you think wins?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm stuck between the two. That's
I'm
a hard. When you think about that, who really wins that between Topuria and Bilal?
I think
If weight
Bilal.
wasn't a factor, like if they were at the same weight, everything was equal except their skill set.
I think Bilal.
I feel like I would say I feel Bilal too, just because he has more tools, his cardio for days.
I think Bilal is literally just a big Merab, to be honest. Maybe like a little bit less takedown. But
bro, that's brilliant. It's actually brilliant.
And he knocks people out. Like he has, we've seen the power.
Comparison. Look at you. Look at this guy getting good. Guys, give him his flowers. Don't be hating on him in the comments anymore.
I don't know. I was gonna let you have a pass and put them both at number 5, but if you're asking me, I would give Bilal the edge. I think like if they actually fought, if they were both featherweights, right? Let's just say with the same skill set, if there was a guy like that, I mean, yeah, bro. Like imagine if you had Merab's cardio. Like I'm taking you over Ilya. You might have Merab's cardio at 45. I just haven't seen it yet. But
yeah, it's
like if you fought with that same style, like it's basically that's Bilal, I think.
I miss when I was younger, man, because I would gas pedal motherfuckers and just go. And I'm like, I'm gonna break you. I'm gonna make you so tired and break you.
I still think you could do that.
I'm a little older now. It's a little harder.
Bro, I mean, you still do insane rounds in the gym.
Yeah, but not as crazy as I used to, like 2 days and shit like that. I was talking to somebody else this week, and we were talking about they thought I could fight like 10 more years if I wanted to. I was like, brother, I'm 35 years old. What are you talking about? And then he was like, oh, shit. And I was like, yeah, I used to do – we were talking about the cardio as well. And we were talking about Merab. I think this was pre-fight, like before Merab's fight happened. And I was like, bro, when I was younger, I had a gas tank. And I wasn't cutting as much weight. Obviously, I was younger, and I would gas pedal guys. He was like, you could do the same thing. I was like, brother, I'm 35. I can't do that no more. Long story short, he was saying you could still do it at 45, and you don't have to train as hard. Not as hard, as much. And I told him, I was like, see, I have some trouble with this because there's a very fine line between I don't have to do 2 days and 3 days like I used to when I was younger because I don't have the youth on my side anymore, so I can't just run my body into the ground and recover the way I would as a youth, right? So the catch-22 is, at what point do you feel like you're just being soft and taking off too many days and not getting in the work that you should be getting in, that you would have normally gotten in when you were younger? And I told him, I was like, that's the mental battle I have in my training camps is like, he's like, you don't have to do as much. You have the experience on your side. And you know how to train. You know how to win. And I was like, yes, but I also know I need to put the work in. And, yeah, so that's my –
well, isn't that like the natural course of events in any athlete? Yeah. It's like, you know, the young guy can make up the difference because they can work harder. Their body can take more. And then the old guy, that's when the plateau starts to happen is because he can't go as hard in training. Yeah. I'm not saying you're plateauing, but
no, I don't think I plateaued either. But there's also I'm just honest with myself, man. Like, you know, I know what's up. I know Father Time is undefeated, but it is what it is. Like, I just want to make sure I'm not being a bitch in training when I'm like, oh, my body really hurts. I think I need a day, possibly 2, and sometimes even 3 to get back to a level playing field where I can actually train and not feel like I'm just putting myself more in a red line deficit.
Mm-hmm.
So I forgot what we were even talking about, but
I mean, we were just saying between.
Top
I mean,
five.
it was Bilal or Ilya. Yeah, I think.
Bro, all the guys lost that were undefeated, Doug. That is
crazy.
And for the record, like I said, guys, I gave Islam his flowers. I gave him his flowers. I even took a picture of those guys taking a picture and posted it because when you break a record, that's still history. No one can take that away from you. So cheers to them for that, especially him having to go with the morale after his guy just lost. I could imagine the back room was probably a little bit of a downer, and for him to go out there and still put on a crazy performance like that is super impressive, and I think that should be definitely appreciated. But I, again, would like to see him fight a 55er on full camp. And it just sucks. Who are we saying as his potential opponents? Dan Hooker if he wins, or Justin Gaethje. But the Justin Gaethje one's tough because obviously he just lost to Max.
Well, I mean, Dan Hooker's tough too because Islam destroyed Dan Hooker.
Yeah, but that was fights ago, and it was also on short notice.
That's true. Yeah, I think whoever has I think you could say this even for Merab too. Like, time will tell, and whoever has a really sick performance is probably gonna get it. You know, like whoever makes a mark.
Yeah.
Like someone's got to kind of earn it. I mean, I honestly hope Dana lets Arman get run it back, but.
Yeah, so those two guys, Gaethje, Hooker, Arman, Oliveira, and then maybe even Gamrot. It could be a potential wild card to throw in there. So potentially 5 guys. You know who I think would actually give this guy a good run for his money from a skill perspective?
Who?
Iron Michael Chandler. But with that said, I know it's crazy, but hear me out. With that said, I think he's too crazy and reckless where he can't get out of his own way. I just think stylistically, I just don't. No, I don't know.
I don't know. I think the way he fought against Charles
the second time,
just this last fight, was like I literally don't think he could fight smart.
Yeah, I just thought about it. I'm like,
yeah,
I feel like we should almost clip that out. I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I just put my foot in my mouth. That was a bad one. That's a bad take.
he's been one of my favorite fighters to watch, but yeah, I don't.
No, I'm with you. Just the fighting smart part is hard for him.
Honestly, bro, it has to be because Charles just beat him. So Charles is coming off a win. It's got to be Charles. Everyone wants to see that rematch. I think so. That being said, I mean, do you want to talk about the other fights, or I mean, do you want to cut it there? I mean, there's so much to talk about.
There was a lot going on.
I'm down. Like I'm down for the cause, but
so Jamal Hill versus Prochaszka. So I'm gonna say one thing about this. The main thing I think that still resonates with me, or still stands true to me, in my opinion, post-fight is what I was saying before the fight. I think Jiri is very awkward, and he possesses this ability to move in a way that people don't see. I don't think I've ever seen the guy train in a traditional gym on Instagram. Obviously, I don't go to his page and stuff, but I always see clips of him doing something crazy, either backwards, doing something on the treadmill, in the woods, or out in the mountains. And I'm just like, does this guy ever go to the actual gym and train? But, you know, obviously jokingly, I would imagine that he does, hopefully.
I wonder, like, if he's doing that to market the image that
I don't think so.
I mean, that would be, like, pretty smart, actually. That's some shit I would think.
Let's go, Death.
I mean, but so I forgot who said it. Like, it's – go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, we were in the back room and we're watching the fight, and I was like, yo, I was talking about this and breaking it down and just saying the way he lunges in with these punches, these crosses and the jabs, it's very hard to time. And I said this, right? But now, I think you and I were talking, and I was like, I think Jamal's going to need to capitalize on a counter, like a catch pull into something. And I think that would be the fight. But he just couldn't really get his foot. he was reaching, overextending a bit, and I think it was because of the awkwardness. I still felt Jamal was the more technically better fighter in my personal opinion, but MMA is MMA. Whatever works is whatever works. You know what I mean? So with that said, I felt Jamal just couldn't get a beat on everything. I think he had like one moment where it looked like he might get him out of there, and then Yuri kind of came right back, and I think ring rust might be a little bit of a thing also, just not having that consistency on top of his injuries
That
bro, that has plagued him. You
Bro.
compound all of that together, man. You might not look like you used to, you know. So
yeah.
I don't know
also,
where he
I
goes
think
from here.
Yuri. It seems like Yuri was a little bit more technical. I don't know if technical is the right word, but
Technical is like, but I think strategically he was the
like,
better
he was
fighter for sure.
Smarter a little. Like he came back on some like better, bigger and better type. You know.
I'm just curious to know if he knows what he's actually looking for. Like I'm sure when he's moving, he's looking to punch you in the face. But I wonder if there's a rhyme or reason why he's doing certain things, and if he could break it down and explain it, because that would be a very interesting insight to his method of madness.
Yeah, I thought after Jamal beat Glover, I thought he was the most skilled.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I've been kind of riding. I thought he was gonna beat Pereira for that same reason. But yeah, maybe that Achilles, bro. That's a tough fucking any sport, any athlete. That's a tough thing to ever come back from and be full. No, I don't think any athlete has ever come back from that injury and been the same. They could still be good, great even, but not the same. You know? And I think maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anybody else.
I mean, like Kobe was never the same. Aaron Rodgers never the same. Like those are two other sports as well. Those are like the top of mind, you know. So,
David Beckham, did he injure his Achilles?
bro, do I look like I watch soccer?
I don't know. Sometimes you're into weird things.
Yeah, like fucking. Sometimes
Soccer.
you're into gay. Sometimes you're into something gay, bro.
Soccer. Soccer is fun. I like soccer.
I wanted to get your opinion on this. So Peyton Talbot was like super fucking hyped coming into this.
Wait, before Peyton, let me just finish this thought.
Okay.
I don't know what's next for Khalil. Not for Khalil. Wow.
Jamal.
I did what Wei Lee did.
Bro, that's
I don't
crazy.
know what's next. Maybe I'm projecting. Maybe I'm thinking that Khalil should fight Jamal.
They're not all the same, bro. Damn.
Maybe that's what I was going to say. Maybe Khalil Roundtree should be fighting Jamal Hill, and they go from there. But I do think, I don't know what matchups are the most favorable matchups to give him his confidence back, where he can kind of get his feet back underneath him. But I think he needs to stay active. Definitely take some time off. But I think he needs to make sure he's staying in shape. And I've expressed this to him too. Like I think you can't let yourself get that big again, man, because it takes a toll, especially after an injury like that. It makes it harder for the weight to come back off. And, of course, you're not able to train probably the same way. So hopefully he's doing the right thing, taking care of his body. He said he will be, and I truly do believe him. He wants to be where he believes he should be, and that's a man motivated. And I think a lot of people are going to be counting him out. And I told him, like, people are going to be chirping you. Bro, you got to be able to tune that out. I know you're fully capable of doing it. And just use it as fuel. Use it as motivation. But don't let it get you angry. Just use it as motivation. But
Hell
that's
yeah.
my talk. My thoughts on Jamal. But congrats to Yuri, because that was crazy.
Yeah, that was sick.
That was crazy. He's a super nice dude too, bro. What he did for that lady who had cancer flying around, like, that's cool as shit. And the donation, Dana matched the donation. They don't always match a donation. I'm just like, yo, can you match my donation though? Like, like after I fight, that's my donation. Can you match that? Because I need that double check, you know? Imagine, like, yo, Dana, match my donation, boy. To myself.
That's mad funny. Peyton Talbot. Do you feel like he was exposed as like the blueprint to beat him was laid out perfectly in plain sight? Or, you know, do you still feel like he's got the potential to be like another Sean O'Malley type of guy that could be like a star that rises to the top of the division?
Well, I'm not. He's definitely not Sean O'Malley because O'Malley would have never taken a fight with a grappler. So he's got a little bit more balls there, especially that early in his career, in his UFC career, to do that. But I don't think his stock diminishes all that much. But I will say for sure, if anyone has any takeaway on him, it's his grappling is clearly not that good, and especially someone who won't get as tired as Raoni Barcelos, because that man was gasping. I'm in the back. I'm like, yo, oh man, if you don't move your feet, he's coming for that ass. You better move your feet, because this young buck is coming for that ass. And then they started trading punches. In the back, we're all going crazy. Like, yo, Raoni's about to get knocked out after winning 2.5 rounds of this fight. He's crazy. He needs to take him back down, otherwise he's going to sleep. Because that was my take. I felt like he's probably a little chinny still. He's like 37, 38 against this 26-year-old bull. Like, this guy sits on his punches, he connects, and guys go down.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But great fight. I don't think he was, as they say, fraud checked. He was able to get up a couple of times, just not the most crafty down there. But for him to escape and get back to his feet, that's a huge plus. It shows he's clearly knows a little bit what's going on down there. It wasn't a complete fish out on land. And he's a young kid, so one loss is not going to be too hurtful for him. I think that's a huge growing fight for him. Huge growing fight.
So you think he's still, like, the potential for him to be at the top of the division is still there?
Yeah. I saw some comments. People were saying because he cut his hair, he lost his aura and his fight IQ. And then someone said also because he paints his nails. I was like, damn. The fans.
Me and my girl were cooking that shit while we were watching.
Yeah.
But, do you know who Frank Ocean is, the rapper?
Yeah.
Or a singer,
Well, he's
I guess?
like a singer. I heard he's gay, though.
So Frank Ocean posted Peyton Talbot on his story.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew he was going to lose at that point. Like,
Frankie Ocean.
Yo, but how crazy is that? He was the fact that he was hanging out with Frank Ocean, like, the gay boys unite, you know? Like, yo, I can't ever come to anything ever again, because, like, if I see these guys, they're gonna fucking smack me.
Well,
it
might be worth it.
I'll just make sure you're recording it.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that I don't know what that's about. But I heard Frank Ocean was like bi or whatever. I don't give a what you want to do with that ding along with your friends along. Yo,
come on.
You can do whatever you want as long as it's not around me.
Come on, don't. How about Chris Weidman, bro? Retiring.
Man, that brought a tear to my eyes.
Did it actually?
It did. I started getting choked up, man. But yeah, man, we've had a lot of great memories. So shout out to Chris for sure. Great legacy, great father, great friend, great fighter. Didn't have as many fights as a lot of us did, but for him to do what he did in such a short amount of time, on top of the world, changing his family's life, living in his parents' basement with his wife at the time, or fiance at the time, or whenever they got married. I forget the exact, whatever. But longtime girlfriend. And then having a kid down there, too, with them, 2 kids, is just like, those are Cinderella storybook endings. So it was cool for him to come out. We did that appearance at Cork and Batter. It's just funny because he's part owner in the restaurant. He's never been there before. And it was just crazy how the stars aligned. I was like, bro, you're not going to come to your own restaurant. I was like, I'm doing a meet and greet there. You need to come. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm actually part owner. I'm like, yo, so what are you doing? How have you never been to this place? And Merab's fighting there. It just makes too much sense not to go, so.
So he pulled up just off that conversation?
He was trying to tell me and convince me that, I was planning to come out there around that time. I was like, bro, I'm the one that brought it up. So I don't believe you. But I'm going to say I'm taking credit for this one. So, Chris, I'm taking credit for this. Thank you for pulling up to the restaurant. And thank you for the love, man. Yo, he was getting the crowd pumped up, drinking the Funk Harbor. He got a couple of Funk Harbor chants going. So that was cool. So shout out to everyone who came out. Had such a great time. But yeah, what a legacy, man. Crazy fights with Lyoto Machida. I saw Lyoto on Saturday night as well after the fights. That was a epic war. That's a fight you could watch back to the end of time and always just going to be amazed with the toughness of Chris, the toughness of Lyoto, and just the skill from both of those guys in that fight.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy, man.
I'm going to say, bro, this card this weekend got me, like, excited to be, like, a fight fan again. Like, this was a great card to kick off the year, I got to say.
It's good fights, man.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to watch fights every weekend now, you know?
Yeah,
I haven't felt that way in a while. All right, cool. That's all I got. So, you got any closing words?
Long live the champ. The champion has a name. Merab Dvalishvili.
I think Merab's going to be champ for a minute.
I'm hoping, and I told him after the fight too, I said, brother, I'm telling you right now, look at everyone you're already beating. Only way people are going to beat you is if you beat yourself. I'm like, so if you want to break the record, you could break the record and set a crazy record, but it's really up to you and the time that you put in. I was like, and you know this already. You're training all the time. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back tomorrow or later today and he goes for a run. The guy's crazy like that. But that's really it. I don't really have much else to say besides that. And just love to everyone that came out to Cork and Batter and supported us. I hope you guys had a great time. Merab had I think that lady Susie gave us like these Hawaiian chain things that she made out of dollar bills and $5 bills. And it was pretty cool. I don't even know what to describe it as. It's like one of those things that they give you when you step off the plane in Hawaii. She made something like that, but with money. So that was pretty badass. Somehow I took all of them. So I got some extra cash. I'm gonna go spend a little cash.
There you go.
But that's it. That's all I got.
Cool,
I should have some fight news hopefully this week. But we're looking at April. I think March is probably gonna be too soon now. So we're looking at April. I'll be coming out to Bali and Shanghai. Shanghai at the end of April, and then Bali, I think the first week of May, and possibly Ibiza the second week of May. So we got a lot on the plate, a lot on the horizon. But first up, also congrats to Damian Nelson for his win at Fury Fighting. And then, of course, we have Nassim coming up February, I believe, 15th. So I should be cornering for that. And let's just keep the good times rolling in.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and I'm going to Miami this week.
Fire.
So I'll be at Combat Karate. I'll see you guys there.
Dope. That's it.
Woo.
Yo, who are you fighting?
I don't know.